The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
We are back. New York Met baseball, past, present, and future. I'm Ralph Tycho with the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. The two co-hosts are here, Robert Cole and Marty Rose. How are you guys?
Very well.
Doing good, Ralph.
Good. We've been celebrating all week. It's pretty much the start of spring training. Exhibition games have started, and just that brings joy to all three of our lives, no matter what your team is, where it's going. Just that another season is starting. It's nice. Start with you, Robert Cole. What's your reaction to that?
Oh, excited as always. Get like a little kid again, like I did 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Right. Brings us back. Mert?
Yeah, it's just that time of the year, you know. I think I felt it more when I lived up north because of the cold winter. You know, it just made you feel that much better that it was coming to an end and it's baseball season. Now that we're down here in sunny Florida and we're getting above average for the season temperatures, you don't feel it quite as much, but when you put that first game on, you see the field and the grass, and we're ready to go, you know.
It's nice. You know what it always reminds me of, Marty, the first, I say Marty, but because you and I walked to Junction Boulevard while the game was going on, the game that Rod Keneal hit a base hit, got a base hit to win. The first exhibition game was played between the Yankees and the Mets. And I remember listening to it on the radio with you walking to that ill-fated park that we used to play softball at, if you remember, across from Southridge.
PS 149.
Yeah, PS 1, right, exactly. And we walked and we looked at it. I remember looking at you. Wow. Who's Rod Keneal? All this. It was very exciting times while that team was in spring training being formed. Before I ask Robert for his memories of it, I just want to say and remind Marty and maybe you for the first time, Robert, that the New York Post had a contest going on that if you send a postcard with what you think is going to be the opening day lineup, the first person to send that in wins an autographed ball of the Mets team. I must have sent 1,000 cards in.
Did you get it right?
The ball Bots is going to pitch. I wanted that, and to determine what the starting lineup was that day, as we went through spring training, proved to be absolutely impossible. And for me, somebody won an autographed ball, but those were very exciting days. We're 16, 15 maybe, getting a team, a National League team of our very own with the promise that it's going to play in Queens where we lived. And, wow. Robert Cole.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember those days?
Yeah. It was especially exciting because, we lost our teams after the 57 season. And, for 4 long years, We really had no National League team. And all of a sudden, we were getting it again, and it was very exciting.
Right. And what's really interesting, you say we lost our team. We did, but they were two separate teams.
Correct.
So the trauma, I mean, I was a Giant fan, you were a Dodger fan. The trauma was the same no matter which team you lost. And I think more than anything, we lost the rivalry. Whichever team you liked, when we look back, you couldn't have one without the other. And
exactly,
couldn't have those great memories. And we lost both of them the same year. And this team was going to be, I didn't particularly like that it had a Dodger flavor, but I did like the fact that they were playing in the Giants, in the Polo Grounds where the Giants played. So, and I liked their uniforms a lot. I still do, except those years where they go a little crazy. But I think the design of the uniforms that combine all three teams in New York from back then. Touch of the Dodger blue, you got the Yankee pinstripe, you got the NY, which turned out to be a little bastardized from the way it was when the Giants played their final years in New York. But the first year it was damn close, the NY on the cap.
Mm-hmm.
And that was cool. That was cool. So good memories coming back. Anybody in spring training in those years, in that year, that didn't make it, that surprised you? Any memories of that? Guys that were sure to make it and then didn't, or who surprised you by making it? I guess that's a better question. Was it Rod Keneal?
For me, probably yes. Probably was Rod Keneal, because virtually everybody else that was supposed to make it did make it, at least to start with.
Right. Yeah, he was in the Yankee organization in the minor leagues, and he attended what Casey used to set up as an instructional league for minor leaguers before spring training. And they'd have big league coaches, and they teach these players the Yankee way. Well, Keneal was a jack of all trades and a master of none. And but he was a hustler. He was an Eddie Stanky kind of guy with no real talent, but a hustler. And indirectly, because of the way he responded, there were three people. You're right, Mert. Lee Grosskopf was one of those that I called. I called Sam Huff when we were kids. I got his home number, and I called Rod Keneal and talked to him for a long time. He was in the hospital at Lenox Hill Hospital getting his knee operated on, and he gave me one hell of an interview. I wish I had it recorded right now. But it led to my wanting to get into this thing in a very real way. Just I always wanted to know what was happening outside of the lines in baseball, what it took to get there, and what life is like off the field. And that interview kind of transcended. He was so nice. A few other people were, too, that I called later in life. Don Mueller, I remember, was that way. And I said, Don, do you mind sharing a few memories? And he goes, you betcha, love to, that kind of thing. And, yeah, so I digress. Let's talk Met baseball, spring training. Start with you, Marty. It's been a week. They're already playing exhibition games. That's what amazes me, is that and I think it's what led to Smith's injury. But anyway, he has Dominic Smith has what is it, a hamstring, tight hamstring?
Yeah, maybe it was that play at first base. Did you see that? Where he had to stretch. He had to stretch for a bad throw. It was almost like almost a dive. But he tried to keep his foot on the bag. I think if they had replay, the guy was probably safe. His foot might have been off the bag, but there's no replay, thank goodness, in spring training. But he did have his leg way stretched out, and I would assume that that's where the injury took place, although I didn't hear that for sure. But that's what it looked like to me.
Have they come up with anything that will improve the flow of the game with the replay this year, or is everything going to be the same?
Not with the replay. The only one thing that they've come up with is the number of trips to the mound. You heard that, right?
Right.
6 trips to the mound by anybody. You know, a fielder, a catcher, a manager, whatever. Anything over that, the guy must come out. Pitcher must come out of the game.
So you can't come in from second base to tell the guy, look, your curveball's breaking a certain way.
You can, but it counts. It counts as one of those 6 trips.
I mean, yeah, you can, but you're not apt to. If you're the second baseman, you're not apt to use an up for something like that.
No.
And I think that's not good for the game, because it just isn't. It may speed it up, 10 seconds?
Well, I mean, I've seen games where the catcher's going out every 2 or 3 pitches. The catcher's going out to talk to the pitcher. I mean, come on.
That was Gary Sanchez last year.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, what do they got signs for? Come on. You don't have to speak to the guy.
Shake him off and get another sign, or do what you do and let's play. Yeah, I understand that too. Gonzalez, I want to ask, it was your turn, Robert. Anything new in camp? Is he in shape? Is he injury-free? Is he swinging well?
Well, he looks like he's injury-free. He got a couple of base hits. I know he got a nice hit yesterday that I was watching. Hit the ball with authority. Looks like he's healthy. I mean, of course, we still have 5 weeks to go, so that's hard to say. But it looks like he's be ready to go.
Good. That's nice. That could be
today, Ralph?
Steele when you think about it. He was one of the first. And you guys were right. The dominoes are starting to fall. Guys are starting to sign all over. The guy who hasn't signed is Jake Arrieta.
Mm-hmm.
That's I wonder who's going to get him, and are the Yankees still... I'll have to ask that on the Yankee show, whether or not the Yankees still may be interested in him. I think he can solidify.
I wouldn't think so. They're really trying to stay under that 197.
The guy who I heard the Yankees are interested in right now is Lance Lynn. Mm-hmm. That's who Michael Kay was talking about the other day.
Yeah, I'm wondering too if they have any hopes of delivering Ellsbury somewhere that makes it work for everybody. But
well, the problem
I'll find out on the Yankee show, and that's another story. Let's go around the horn a little bit. Second base. Start with you, Marty.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's going to be any competition. It's Cabrera's job, so
right.
They can have as many of these what we like to call 4A players that were on the Las Vegas shuttle that can play.
Reynolds, those guys, TJ, and I know who you're talking.
Cheney, I mean, it's Cabrera's job. So
right.
They're set. The infield is set.
The infield set. The outfield seems set. Lagares and Nemo could do the job until Conforto gets back.
Well, he's hurt again. He hasn't been on the field yet.
Lagares, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Lagares hasn't been on the field yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hamstring again.
Oh.
Yeah, they say it's minor, but I mean, he hasn't played yet.
Hamstrings are never minor. That's
especially with him. I mean, for whatever reason, he's always tweaking hamstrings.
Well,
yeah, their outfield depth is really weak. Let's face it. When they had to bring back Den Decker, when they had to bring him back, I mean, that just shows you, the lack of depth that they have in the outfield. It's really, another guy goes down there in serious trouble.
How far is Conforto away from being ready?
Well, look, they say May 1st, but that's what they say. They have a history of underestimating these injury times. So,
Yeah, or they have a history of wanting to keep a rosy glow on things, just in case one or two people are in the decision-making process of whether or not to buy a season ticket or this, that, and the other thing. So
I did see this guy Lobaton, the other catcher that they signed.
Yeah, right.
He hit a homer yesterday, I think. I didn't realize he was a left-handed hitter. So that could, if he has a really good spring, better than Plawecki, let's say, there's a possibility that he could make the team over Plawecki. I'm just saying, I didn't realize he was a left-handed hitter till I saw him.
He's a switch hitter, Marty.
Oh, he's a switch hitter. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We had him down here in Tampa Bay for a couple of years, and he's a decent ball player, good catcher, and he has a little bit of pop.
Yeah.
Is he a Rule 5 guy?
No, he was signed to a minor league contract.
Okay, so he's not yet on the roster.
Correct.
No.
Okay. Tebow's still getting press.
He hasn't played yet either because he stepped on a. What did he step on? One of those Mickey Mantle injuries?
He
stepped on a drain, not a drain,
ankle.
Sprinkler or something in the outfield.
Oh, really?
He has a sprained ankle of some kind. Yeah. So, he's, day to day, they're saying.
And as we were talking earlier on Facebook, both Mats and Harvey are going to take their turns within the next few days.
Right.
I think a lot will come to light with that. I still can't help but think of Mats's athletic ability and his upside. But like with Lagares, these repeated injuries that are just so close to one another. I mean, he spent a high percentage both have spent a high percentage of time on the DL. And, potential Schlemenschel, let's get those guys on the field. And I hope the new training staff is making a difference. Cespedes seems okay. He had a towering home run that I saw a tape of.
Mm-hmm. And
His
Syndergaard.
the chain that he wears has gotten even bigger. It looks like an anchor around his neck.
Oh, God.
Yeah, there's a little hot dog in him, but, starving guy on an island in Cuba comes to America, and he sees that, it's the wealth, all that crazy stuff that goes on societally. He certainly falls prey, and let's put it that way. What I don't like is his color combination. His pads are always a bright yellow, like he's standing on a freeway in the middle of the night, directing traffic. But if we keep him healthy, there's 45 home runs. That's how I look at it.
Oh, we hope so, yeah. Did you see Syndergaard today, Ralph? You see Syndergaard pitch today?
Beautifully.
Oh, he was throwing gas today.
Gas, unbelievable.
Yeah.
His off-speed pitch was 90. He hit 100, I don't know how many times, 101. Unbelievable. He's
nice.
Ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what happened was, he was facing Verlander today. Verlander in the top of the first inning just mowed the Mets down. And then Syndergaard came out and he had to prove that he was as big a stud as Verlander.
Nice. Nice that goes on early on and getting in the spirit of it, because that's what it takes. It takes an ego, and it's what Yogi said, 90% of it is mental and the other half physical, or something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that.
90% of it is half mental. I think that's
right. Yes, all right. That's good. And then you got DeGrom, and then you get Wheeler, and I think Wheeler will make an excellent long man if all goes well, because Gesellman has been pitching well, and that can make a big difference. Remember, these guys have new pitching coaches, and I say plural because Callaway is basically a pitching coach.
Yes.
Right.
And he's working with Dave Island, who's new to the organization. And these guys have to be turning something in the way of input from, even if guys are looking at it with a fresh eye and nothing else, they can get something from it. So how's your over-under in your heads, guys? What would you say? Start with you, Marty.
Well, the Vegas number of 80.5, I think is low. I'd go 80, 84, 85, somewhere in there. I think they can win. But it's all about being healthy. You make a bet like that in the preseason, and you don't know. Guys go down. That's the chance you take on making a season-long bet. But
all teams are going through the same thing in terms of.
Well, yeah.
It's not just a Met thing. Sometimes it seems personal when it goes on for 2.5, 3 years straight. Seems a little personal, but
I think they could win 85, considering the weakness of the Marlins, Phillies, and Braves.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I can't say I look for it, but I do look for them being in contention.
Yes.
Just for a wild card spot.
Yeah, you would hope so.
If they get off to a good start, you never know either with the Nationals. If they stay healthy, I think they compare with the Nationals.
Oh, yeah.
Harper's in his walk here, so he'll be psyched.
So what I like is that, say Gonzalez strikes lightning, or they strike lightning with him. Now you're talking about Frazier, Gonzalez, Bruce, Cespedes. Whoa.
Yeah.
A team built around pitching a year and a half ago has turned into something that has kept up with the offensive juggernaut in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Potential amount of home runs, and you put 4 guys. Nobody's pitching around anybody. I'm excited. I'm excited that even that they don't have outfield depth, they have the option of making Flores maybe a left fielder. He can get.
I think Reyes too could play the outfield.
Oh, good point.
Yes. Flores is so slow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see him out there.
But Reyes
another story.
could make that move.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah. They're reasonably deep in the infield at this point.
Oh,
I have to say that.
Yeah.
Especially, not especially, but first base. And it just goes to show how long we've been depending on Wright at third base. To have a guy like Frazier, who was no Wright in his prime, let's put it that, never would have been, but he will give the Mets all that we could have dreamt about Wright ever giving them in 1 year again.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
So
they got guys that can play multiple positions in the infield, so they're like interchangeable,
Yep. Right.
So
that's we forget how Reyes could come to the top of the order. Wouldn't surprise me with his athletic ability if they put him in center field and let him off.
They were talking about that during the winter. Now, I haven't seen him play the outfield yet, but they were talking about having him play the outfield during spring training.
Yeah,
I'd like
that.
To see it.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. And that still leaves you with Flores in the infield where he can move things around. Like, the only place he could play basically is second, the way I look at it.
Second or first.
Yes,
exactly. or first.
First. Herrera can still play short if necessary. He can play third. So
right.
Move around.
Yeah, they're flexible and, like I say, somewhat deep in the infield. It's the first week of spring training coming to an end, the first week of games coming to an end. I'm excited, I have to say.
Hey, Ralph, I have a question
than I've
for you.
been in a long time for the Mets.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Ralph. You
Yes.
remember a pitcher with Oakland by the name of A.J. Griffin?
I somewhat remember the name, but
the Mets signed him yesterday. In 2013, he started 32 games for the A's. He went 14-10.
Wow. How did he end up on the scrap heap? Injuries, I'll bet.
Yeah, last year he was with Texas, started 15 games, went 6-6.
Well,
he's a righty, and I was just wondering because I didn't know too much about him, but I saw that he played for the A's a couple of years ago. So,
for one reason or another, his name just escapes me.
Yeah.
But they've gone through a lot of pitchers. The A's have.
Yeah.
The A's are in basically the same position in life as the Tampa Ray. What are they calling themselves? The
Rays. Tampa Bay Rays.
Rays. You're no longer the Devil Rays. But they're in the same position with ballparks and, borrowing from Peter to pay Paul and building up a team and then trading them off and this, that, and the other thing. And once their ballparks are settled, both franchises will be fine. And there's a good chance that Tampa Bay is going to go over to Tampa for a ballpark that
they like a site in Ybor City. and Ybor City is the neighboring town to Tampa.
Okay.
And it's situated where
how
all the major
close is
highways
this,
are.
Robert?
What's that?
How close to fruition is this?
Well, the team itself has decided on that spot. Now they're trying to come up with financing, and MLB is very happy with the location that they picked. So now they're going through the financing stage and also the actual drafting of how the stadium would look.
Oh, wow. That's pretty well advanced, as is Oakland. And they just put Oakland they put the cart before the horse and were turned down for the downtown spot that they wanted. There are still two spots available. One is by the waterfront, and one is in the same locale where the current stadium is. And what they do is build another one and tear this one down in the parking lot. I think they did that with Comiskey and a number of ballparks that.
The Mets did that as well. So did the Yankees, basically.
Yes. Did the Mets did that too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Citi Field was built in Shea Stadium parking lot.
Right. Wow. Just flashed on opening day in '64, Mert.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Pneumonia Gulch, right? Yeah, Pneumonia Gulch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Up in the right field. How many guys? You know the number.
Yeah, 17,
remember the number more than
guys.
I do.
I think we took up a whole row. I mean, there wasn't a lot of our closest friends, but guys from the neighborhood. There was 17 of us. I remember that.
Whoa.
I remember that. Yeah. Don't ask me all the names, but I remember a lot of the names, It's guys from the neighborhood.
Wow. I remember Joe Christopher was playing right field that day for the Mets.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yes, it was.
All right, guys, we're going to keep it at a tight 30. I thank you very, very much for your company. All week long we get to communicate on Facebook, and we've got our finger on the pulse. New York Met Baseball. I'm Ralph Tycho. I'm with Marty Rose and Robert Cole, and we'll be back next week and keep you posted. It's a month to go to opening day, and that's the goal, is to get there and get there healthy. See you guys. Be well.
You too, Ralph.
Good night.
All right. Thanks again, guys.
Good night.